Britain hits the Brexit button. The UK formally announced its decision to leave the European Union on Wednesday, following a historic referendum last June. After triggering Article 50 of the Treaty on European Union, Britain now has 2 years to negotiate a way out. The 27 remaining EU members will meet to discuss the withdrawal before negotiations begin between Britain and the EU. When a draft deal is approved, it will be put to the European Council, which is comprised of the 27 leaders of the remaining EU nations. If the deal is approved by at least 20 countries with 65% of the EU population, it will be ratified by the European Parliament and the UK will leave the EU. However, if no deal is reached, negotiations could go on longer than the 2-year time limit, but only if all 27 EU member states agree to an extension. The key points of negotiation will center on trade, law, and immigration. No nation-state has ever left the European Union, so the UK's move is unprecedented. It remains to be seen whether Brexit will be a good deal for Britain and just how much of an impact it will have on the EU. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. The UK's decision to leave the EU has unleashed political turmoil.
Britain says cheerio to the EU in historic Brexit vote. In a nail-biter ballot, the British public showed up in droves and voted to say Auf Wiedersehen to the 28-member, oh wait, we mean 27-member, EU bloc. The loss means Remain-backer Prime Minister David Cameron will soon be out of a job. The historic vote means the UK will leave the EU after 4 decades and sets former London Mayor Boris Johnson up to lead the British Conservative Party. The GTFO campaign won primarily because its supporters want immigrants to GTFO. UKIP leader Nigel Farage declared independence following the ballot victory. The vote left financial markets in turmoil. The British pound weakened as much as 11% against the greenback. Maybe we should call it the ounce. A weaker pound will make British property and other assets cheaper for foreign investors. But hey, if you're American, looks like it's a perfect time to visit Buckingham Palace. And since the EU vote didn't go their way, the Scots will likely hold a second independence referendum. Oh well. At least we'll get to watch that Braveheart sequel we've all been waiting for. Freedom!
Why are thousands of Brits suddenly seeking Irish passports? Thousands of Brits are seeking information on how to acquire an Irish passport in a bid to maintain their European Union citizenship following last week's Brexit vote. According to Reuters, post offices in Northern Ireland ran out of passport application forms. Meanwhile, the Irish Embassy in London, which normally receives 200 passport queries a day, received 4,000. That's a 2,000% increase. Applications normally cost €175 or around $190. If all those applications are processed, it could net the Irish government around €700,000 or some $775,000. Currently, anyone born in Ireland or Northern Ireland can obtain an Irish passport. Anyone with an Irish parent or grandparent can also obtain an Irish passport. According to Reuters, the number of people living in the UK entitled to an Irish passport amounts to around 6 million. It's not just Irish passports Brits are seeking. Over 1 million live in the EU and are looking for ways to maintain their EU citizenship. It's currently unknown what will happen to EU-based British expats and EU citizens in the UK following the Brexit vote. Why does Britain want to exit the European Union? Because of out-of-control sky-high Muslim migration. Vote Trump for El Presidente del Universo. But seriously, the answer to the question posed by the title of this video isn't a simple one, dear viewer, but it is important. Even TomoNews analyst Marijuana Man elected to blow his brains out rather than explain this. In the cloak and dagger realm of British statecraft, Europe has long been the elephant in the room. But if you think it's just because of migrants and the free state cash and health insurance they're supposedly showered with upon entry, then you'll find you're actually quite right. But we'd be doing you a disservice if we left it at that. Many British believe their government treats EU migrants better than themselves. Blame for this is largely placed on European laws, which override British laws. As it currently stands, EU migrants entering the UK can work freely and claim state welfare, such as unemployment, healthcare, and child benefits. Britons can also do the same in any other EU country. British Prime Minister David Cameron renegotiated these issues so that EU migrants can only claim benefits after living in the UK for 4 years. Cameron also ensured that Britain would permanently be able to keep using the pound and protect the UK from the sometimes volatile Eurozone. The uncertainty caused by the UK's European future has shook the markets, with many uncertain how the continent will look if Britain votes to leave. The contention has led to the UK's in or out EU referendum on June 23, 2016, also known as the Brexit vote. So in review, a simple answer to why does the UK want to break up with the EU may simply be that Europe enjoys taking a crap on British law, and Britons don't like being crapped on. Except for those pesky Scottish nationalists. They'll happily take Europe's crap over Westminster's crap any day of the week, which is probably why they say, if the UK votes to leave the EU and Scotland wants to stay, there'll be another vote on Scottish independence. So to the Scots, we say this: freedom! Coming to you in 2017. Probably. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
To Brexit or not to Brexit? That is the question. This Thursday, Britain votes on its 4-decade membership of the European Union, with the option to remain in or Brexit out of the 28-country political economic alliance. Brits are dead split over the EU. And when figures on both sides of the debate are talking out of their asses with half-truths and threats, we honestly can't blame them. The Brexit crowd reckons leaving the EU would return immigration control and sovereignty, and make Britain great again. They wonder if they mean empire. The Remain bunch meanwhile prophesies of nothing but the UK's impending doom should Brexit happen. A leave vote may spell the downfall of the EU and the UK herself, while remaining might well result in a United States of Europe. Either way, it'll go to the wire, and Europe will never be the same after the votes are tallied on June 23rd, 2016.
Post-Brexit power struggle tears Britain's Conservatives apart. The fallout from Britain's decision to leave the European Union continues, with members of the ruling Conservative Party lining up to slit each other's throats in the battle to become the next Prime Minister. Brexit backer Boris Johnson was widely expected to vie for the top job, but pulled out of the race on Thursday after he was stabbed in the back by devious fellow Leave campaigner Michael Gove. Former journalist Gove is best known in the UK for being a Eurosceptic and a hate figure for teachers during his time as Education Secretary. Gove running for leader splits the party's anti-Europe vote, destroying Boris's chances. That's why Tory insiders say Gove is a cuckoo in the nest. One Tory MP even said Gove had earned himself a reservation in a very deep pit in hell. Gove will be challenged for the party leadership by Home Secretary Theresa May, who campaigned to stay in the EU. Well, sort of. May is best known for running a ministry that tried to deport a frail 92-year-old widow to South Africa. Showing compassion like that, it's no wonder comparisons are being made between her and the last woman to leave the Conservatives. However, other than being equally ambitious, Tory insiders say May is too dull and boring to emulate Margaret Thatcher. The backstabbing and manoeuvring will continue until the Conservatives elect a new leader in September. The winner is almost certain to be named the next Prime Minister. His or her first job will be to clean up the mess left by the last guy.